Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and today we are back with another brand new LEGO Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 set review. This is Baby Rocket Raccoon ship. It retails for $35 US and comes with Rocket Raccoon in his adult form, as well as Baby Rocket Raccoon, who is a recolored raccoon mold from LEGO Friends. This is a really charming and interesting vessel. It's one of my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy smaller ships that we've gotten so far, and I can't wait to showcase this in the review. Thank you to the LEGO Ambassador Network for sending me this to review. Of course, all thoughts and opinions expressed in this review are my own, but thank you to LEGO for sending me it, and without further ado, let's jump right in to the review. Alright, so this is set number 76254. It is Baby Rocket Ship. It just released on April 1st, 2023, and retails for $35 US. The set only comes with technically one figure, which is Rocket Raccoon, although it is advertised as having two figures, one of which is Baby Rocket Raccoon, who is a recolored LEGO Friends raccoon mold, but looks really adorable, and we'll be getting into that much later. Setting aside the minifigures though, I want to focus in on the main set itself. This is a really interesting craft that we've seen a few glimpses of in the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but we haven't really gotten to see in action that much. There's a lot of dynamic movement to the way this craft is built. There are moving ratchet joints on the front to be able to angle the top boosters. You can move the boosters up and down, as well as ratchet joints situated on the back to be able to rotate these and move them up and down as well, and even some landing pads or spikes on the back to add some extra elements of swishability onto the back of the craft. There are two main modes that this craft has. There is a landing mode and a flying mode. To land the vehicle, because right now it is in flying mode, what you do is rotate the engines downwards, like so, close these up, and then you would just simply take these back engines and also rotate them downwards like this. And there you have it, the craft is in its landed position. I really like that LEGO did something like this. I always really enjoy ships that you can actually move around different parts of them, and it feels like they're more dynamic in play, and this absolutely is a really dynamic ship to play with. One of the things that's really cool about it is that you can really angle the engines every which way that you'd want. When taking off, it is so much fun to play with because you can imagine the engines are spitting out fuel and fire onto the ground there, and it's slowly hovering in the ground, and then you can just rotate these forwards, angle these outwards, and you are ready to blast off from there, which is just such a cool and interesting design. I just really like how this was put together, and it feels like a really swishable and fun and dynamic spacecraft. I think it's really cool because LEGO has allowed the builder to really decide how they want the spaceship to be done. If you want just a traditional straight up, these are the way the engines are pointed, here's how it goes, but if you want to capture the forward rake of the ship, where, as you can see, the entire ship is intended to sit a little bit forwards. If you look at the way the engines are oriented, you are specifically meant to angle the ship forwards in flight. It's a very subtle angle, but it looks really interesting when it's flying. You can absolutely do that as well. And they've helped facilitate that by mounting the back engine on a hinge here, so you can actually either angle it completely straight out or just ever so slightly downwards to really capture that forward rake of the craft, even angling the back fin downwards as well. Overall, it's just a really interesting and fun design of a ship, and one of my favorite things about the new Guardians of the Galaxy wave of sets is that the two ships included are actually really interesting in the way that they're shaped, and they feel like nothing we've really ever gotten before from LEGO. Let's put this back into a standard landing position so we can take a look at how exactly the cockpit opens up. Again, so satisfying to see that being transformed into landing mode here. Now, the cockpit just opens up simply like this. I believe that is the first time we have gotten this windscreen in transparent green. It is an older LEGO windscreen, but it is really cool to get that in green. It may not be the first one, but to my memory it is, and it will be really useful for custom LEGO space creations as well, which is very cool. Now, anachronistically, this set does have seating room for both Rocket Raccoon and his baby self, unless some time travel shenanigans are going on in Volume 3, which I do doubt. I don't think this is ever going to be on screen, but it really is just a way for kids to be able to seat both figures included in the set in the ship itself. I really like that LEGO did this because they really didn't need to. I feel like this is Baby Rocket Raccoon's ship. They easily could have just had seating space for the baby version, but they figured, you know what, kids might want to either have adult adult Rocket Raccoon piloting it, or have both of them for whatever reason piloting the ship. Maybe if you have a Baby Groot figure, you could have Rocket Raccoon in there and put Baby Groot in the little baby seating area. I think overall that's just a really nice and charming design and way for adding additional play features to the set itself. It's super simple because both characters can just sit right in the cockpit there. This closes up, and there you have it. They are flying the spaceship through the universe, and if you want it to be accurate, just simply remove Rocket Raccoon's adult version, place the baby version of him inside the ship, and there you go, just barely, you can actually see just the snout of baby Rocket Raccoon just sitting in the back of the windscreen there. So overall, it is a really nice thing that they've done to include both minifigures having seating space in the ship, even though, again, doesn't really make sense for them to do it, because as far as we can tell from trailers, this is the ship that Baby Rocket Raccoon piloted to escape the High Evolutionary, and it's not necessarily something that still even exists today in the present, or that Rocket Raccoon would be piloting as an adult. Overall, I think it's time to just sum up my thoughts on the set itself, but before that, let's take a quick look at the minifigures. Now, Rocket Raccoon is sporting the same exact outfit as all of the other Guardians of the Galaxy, with short legs instead of the printed legs, but the torsos are shared amongst all of them. The headpiece is the same that we've gotten in the recent Infinity Saga sets. They recently remolded it to remove the shoulder pads and allow you to actually turn his head, which is something I really appreciate because older versions of the Rocket Raccoon minifigure did not have the head having the ability to be turned. It is just using the standard brown animal tail. Nothing too crazy going on here for the figure, but I just like the way they've done the expression on his face, and I do prefer this head mold compared to pretty much anything else we've gotten from Rocket Raccoon in the past. The baby Rocket Raccoon, on the other hand, is another adorable LEGO baby figure. This is not a brand new mold, as I accidentally believe I stated in my reveal of these sets, because this is just the LEGO Friends Raccoon mold. Typically, LEGO doesn't really mix the Friends animal designs with standard LEGO minifigure designs, but since it is just such a cute little model, I figure that this made total sense, especially if they didn't have the budget or it didn't really make sense to spend budget making a new mold for a baby Rocket Raccoon. I think it makes the most sense to do something like this. We have seen glimpses of him looking adorable in the trailer, and this really does capture the essence of baby Rocket Raccoon, I feel. So really happy with this little figure, and it definitely is one of the highlights of the set to me, despite not even being a new mold. And with that, I think we have summed up our thoughts on Baby Rocket Raccoon's ship. I really like this. This is a really nice, charming, smaller spacecraft. You have so much that you can do with it, and again, I love it when LEGO spaceships, you can really play around with them and angle things in different ways. You can have it flying like this, almost like a Blade Runner-esque car. You can have it pointed outwards just ever so slightly. I mean, if you really wanted to, for whatever reason, you could really just go crazy with the angle, point these up and down. You could have a really dynamic space pursuit by maybe you're trying to change the angle of your flight, so you're kind of quickly angling the engines to go upwards like this, and then you can just readjust here, going downwards, and really imagining like you're keeping the cockpit in the same space. It's just a really interesting thing to do for a LEGO spacecraft, and I just like how simple it is in terms of the way you can move it around. It is just literally mounted on the most simple of connections of ratchet joints, but it allows for so much more dynamic play to have so much movement be induced by just a few ratchet joints hidden throughout. Overall, for $35 US, I'm definitely happy with the set, but I do feel the set is missing one big thing, and that is a High Evolutionary minifigure. I think it makes total sense to include the High Evolutionary in the set where presumably Baby Rocket Raccoon makes his escape from him. He is the main villain of the movie, and once again, in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie LEGO set tie-in, we get minifigures of secondary antagonists, but not the main villain itself. It happened in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where we got minifigures for Kraglin, even got a minifigure for Aisha, but we never got any minifigure for Ego, the living planet, who was the main villain, and once again, we have gotten a minifig for Adam Warlock, which I really do appreciate because it is a really cool-looking figure in the largest set, but never got the main villain, the High Evolutionary, in minifigure form. I have a feeling he's going to be a really good villain because the actor who plays him is so good. I love him from Peacemaker, which is another show James Gunn directs, and I have a feeling he's going to be a fan favorite character. And unfortunately, we may have to wait indefinitely, or we may just never get him as a LEGO minifigure. I mean, we still haven't gotten Ego. So it is a shame to not get the main villain again, and I feel like a $35 set was the perfect set to include him in, especially because really only one minifigure for a $35 set, made up of pieces mostly existing prior to this set, doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like just one more minifigure should have been included. Otherwise though, the price seems okay for the set. Maybe $30 would have been a lot more fair, but $35 is, like I said with my review of the new Guardian ship, within the realm of reasonability for a set like this. With that, we've summed up our review of Baby Rocket Ship. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this model? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for even more new LEGO reviews. Thank you to LEGO for sending me a copy of the set to review, although of course, all opinions expressed have been my own. Alright, and with that we have summed up our look at the brand new LEGO Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Rocket Raccoons, or Baby Rocket Raccoon ship. Of course, let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of the set? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? And do let me know what other new LEGO reviews you would want to see from this channel. Thanks all so much for tuning in, and bye for now.